Hey everyone, Jared here for XDA Developer TV. Just thought I'd sneak up on you because I know there are several of you that'll recognize me from my personal YouTube channel. But as much as I'd love to, I'm not here to talk about myself. I'm here to give you guys my top 3 ROM picks for the OnePlus One. So let's do this. So the OnePlus One isn't the easiest phone to get your little modding fingers on, but for the lucky few, there is actually quite a bit of development activity happening over at the XDA OnePlus One development forums. So the first one I wanted to jump into is one of the most popular Android ROMs around. Paranoid Android. Paranoid Android for the OnePlus One is currently sitting at version 4.5 Beta 2. So far it seems stable enough to rock as a daily driver. The camera works, SMS works, all the radios seem to work, so I don't have any negatives for you on that front. But considering it's still in the early stages of development, if you do decide to flash it, just be aware that as perfect as Paranoid Android is, beta means bugs. So 3 major features seem to be working just fine so far, that being pie controls, which can be enabled in the quick tiles pull down by tapping immersive mode. Hover, which is a cool little unobtrusive window that pops up at the top of the display whenever you receive a notification, and tapping on it launches that app so you can reply or do whatever you need to. And then there's peek, which once enabled, when you receive a notification, if you pick up your phone or pull it out of your pocket within 10 seconds of receiving a notification, it'll show you a little bubble on the lock screen relating to the particular app that the notification came from. So you can then tap the bubble and launch right into the app. Also, let's not forget about that cool new card stack style recent tasks menu. Paranoid Android also retains all of the cool settings from the original CM11S ROM. All of that can be found under legacy parts. So we can still do things like double tap to wake and sleep the display, adjust the screen color, switch between capacitive and on-screen buttons, and play around with the performance settings. So next up on my top 3 list is, and I hope I'm pronouncing this properly, MAHDI ROM. It's quite a bit more developed than Paranoid Android and comes packed with customization options. We still have all of the screen off gestures from CM11S. There's also the lock screen peek feature that I talked about earlier, and heads up, which is pretty much the same thing as hover from Paranoid Android, but with heads up, there's several custom settings for you to play with. So if we dive into the settings menu and jump into display, there's some really cool system-wide animation options. So you can tweak everything from system toasts to progress bars. Lots of these animations are from exposed framework modules, but who cares? Just means you don't have to download and install exposed and the relating modules. Under buttons, we have the ability to turn on-screen buttons on or off, enable pie controls, and several other options. So notifications is where the settings for the heads-up notification system I spoke of earlier lives. But in here, you'll also find a nifty little addition called Notification Reminder. So once you enable it, if you pull down your notification shade, you have this little section just below the time where if you tap it, you can set a reminder. I thought that was pretty super nifty. The CyanHacker theme engine is built in, so that's cool, but just above themes packs is the option to turn on dark UI, which is how I like to roll. If you jump into UI settings, in multitasking you have the option to choose whether you want standard AOSP recent task style or slim recents, which I think looks the coolest. Now there's a ton more settings options, seriously a ton more. Lots of them are really cool, and I wish I could show them all to you, but I don't want you all falling asleep on me. Everything seems to work just fine, so I would definitely use MAHDI ROM as a daily driver. Now, just a heads up, the ROMs I'm showing you are in no particular order. That said, as they say, last but certainly not least, we have Cyan Hacker. It's brand new to hit the scene and it's currently on version 1, but it's jam-packed with goodies. But one thing I wanted to point out right away before you go off flashing it, after you're done setting it up, none of the hardware keys work at all. You actually have to go into settings and then advanced options, then device, and check hardware keys enabled. Just thought I'd let you know before you freak out thinking the ROM's borked. Now, starting from the lock screen, we've got all of our notifications on the right side of the display. Just tap on any of them and it'll launch you into that respective app. It comes with 2 launchers for you to choose from, that being the Google Now launcher and the Liquid launcher, which does some pretty cool stuff. For instance, you can set up hot word actions, so if I wanted to launch the camera app without touching anything, I can type the hot word or phrase I want to say and then select the action I want. Open camera app. So that's pretty neat. In interface, we have shake events, so you can set specific actions when you shake your phone a certain way, which is pretty neat. Omni switch just force closes on me, so that's a thing. Again, it's a new ROM, so there's plenty of work left to do. Under notifications, we've got all sorts of goodies. We have active display, halo, heads up, hover, peak, and a couple of other options as well. So basically what I'm trying to say is with this ROM, you'll never miss another notification ever again. In navigation, we've got plenty of nifty tweaks. There's app circle sidebar, gesture anywhere, pie controls, and of course, the ability to turn on the navigation bar. And then, and I know a lot of you are gonna like this one, there's equalizer settings, which comes packed with Viper for Android audio effects. So you can all join me in blowing out our eardrums listening to music way louder than we should. Just like MAHDI ROM, there's a ton of other settings and features tucked away throughout the settings menu. Under display, we've got all of our animation controls, just like on MAHDI ROM. Under sound, tap on advanced options, and we have one of my favorite settings, the option to turn off the safe headset volume warning. And then the last setting option I think is just amazing is under advanced options, and it's called Wakelock Blocker. Now, I know a lot of you are power users, otherwise you probably wouldn't be here, but I'm warning you, don't mess with these settings unless you know exactly what you're doing. So basically with Wakelock Blocker, you can block certain wake locks that prevent your device from going to sleep and consequently drain the hell out of your battery. So just be sure you know what you want to block, otherwise the system can have some pretty crazy instability issues. Anyways, Cyan Hacker is a really interesting ROM and I'm interested to see where it goes. But that's it for this one, guys. If you have a favorite ROM, let us and everyone else know in the comments below which one and why. Don't forget to subscribe to XDA Developer TV if you haven't already to stay up to date on all of our future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Cheers.